Girlfriend, we need to talk. Conversations with outstanding women.
Welcome back. It's Girlfriend, We Need to Talk on video, and our series on coping for leaders and on a personal level with the COVID situation. Cindy Wahler is helping me with this little series from Toronto. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, Leana. Nice to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. So we've talked about some pretty interesting stuff. The last time that we spoke, we talked about coping, just coping with the stress of being at home constantly and not being able to get out and do the things that we usually do. But I wanted to come back and talk to you about the family. So, we're now in each other's face 24/7. I mean, it's historically, retirement has been challenging on couples because they're around each other all the time. So now we have entire families in a house together. What can we do on a personal level to try and make all of that run cohesively?
Great question. And, you should hear some of the comments coming from family members. And some of the comments are, well, when we can fly again and we take our dream vacation, I want to ensure that I'm not sitting next to my partner and that I'm not in the same row because we've had so much togetherness. I will meet you at the destination. And it's the same thing if you look at how we are taking care of each other. Apparently, across North America, most animal shelters have now, fortunately, been able to give up and give away all their animals to families who have time to love pets and want some bonding. And for people who are living alone, this is great companionship and great company. But you are right. For those family members who would complain, I don't see you enough, you're at the office too long, you're never home. Now it's the opposite extreme. And everybody is tired of one another, and there's a bit too much togetherness for adolescents, for teenagers. They too feel that their parents can be intrusive. Not that they're deliberately or intentionally prying in their space, but they're just around. And there's a lot of checking in by parents on their kids. How are you doing? Do you want to play a board game? Do you want to go for a walk? And kids are not necessarily used to this. So it has added an interesting, unexpected level of anxiety and stress because there's just a bit too much intimacy.
Yes, absolutely. And I've heard from friends who have teenagers at home, and they have those periods of complete frustration. They're bored. It's hard to really comprehend because everything seems so endless. Grads aren't having graduation this year. There's all that stuff. But it's hard. I guess go ahead.
Sure. So I think there are a couple of tips and strategies. As a parent, I think it's important to ask your kids, are they finding that they're getting too much of you? So what is it that they want? And so if they're not used to of course, their parents being home after school, or, earlier in the morning before they leave to school, then it's probably a good idea to pull your children and ask, are you having too much together time? And what would be a good idea? That we play a board game, once a week, that we pick a movie to watch together, that we cook together, but that may be something that's once or twice a week and not daily, because mom, dad, we do need our space. We want our privacy, and we expect you to respect that privacy. So I think parents need to be able to go to their kids and probably set what the pulse is and what the tempo is week by week, because it may be something that needs to change the more time we're together, or the more worry there is, as you say, for returning to school or summer camps or being furloughed or not at work. And so to adjust that probably regularly is a good idea.
Yes. In fact, it's probably not a bad idea for the couples to have that conversation with each other.
Absolutely, with each other, because again, probably with your partner, I'm going to guess, just based on stats, there's going to be one person who is more needy and needs more connection than the other. And so they're now going to automatically turn to their spouse or their partner when their partner is not used to that and feeling that that too is invasive. So the recommendation would be there is to, as you say, to check in. And if it is too much, then you need to recalibrate. And maybe if you need that connection, then you need to find other avenues. So, example, we have a friend and he makes once a week a round of calls. He spends 2 hours. He makes a list of calling 10 friends and just kind of checking in, seeing how everyone's doing, comparing notes so that he's not leaning on his partner too much.
Oh, yeah.
And that, it's refreshing for him and for the people that he's calling as a way to create some separation and some distance with his partner and not relying on his partner for that activity or that conversation.
That's great. And I think for couples that are both working in the house, I think it may be a good time to get creative on workspace, so that you're not both at the kitchen table or whatever it may be, right?
Absolutely. Design what space you need when, from what hour, what block of time, when you're going to be, on a conference call, when you're going to be on video conference, and as well, when and where you may need that quiet time. So, if you play the drums, and your partner is working, then you need to negotiate those activities so that you're respectful to each other. And that, again, is something that you need to talk about rather than taking it for granted when you had the house to yourself or you had the evening to yourself. It's absolutely different now. And
Yeah.
I think the other point or the other strategy is within all this, we need to be flexible and you need to be fluid. And if you look at when our kids intervene, when they need help, there are many calls that I'm on where my clients' kids come onto the screen time, and you just have to roll with it because it's humorous, it's funny, it's cute. Even though it might be stressful for my client, it actually isn't, because it's a great icebreaker and a great distractor. So one of the strategies is looking at how adaptable are you, how fluid are you, that you need to make these changes and check in, and whatever change you make this week may need to be revisited the following week.
Yeah, good point. And I love the topic about the kids coming into the picture or whatever, because that's a really, really good, important point for leaders or people who don't have kids when they're having meetings with people who do, that we need to be patient with that and let them know that it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Absolutely. And, those leaders who are sharing some of those unexpected distractions, it is humorous and it does build a level of connection because we're all faced with parts of the day that are unpredictable and that we do find stressful. So for sure, those are important coping mechanisms.
Excellent. Okay, well, that's really helpful. Thanks so much again for coming back on.
Thank you, Leana. Always very topical to be with you and spot on in terms of what we're talking about.
Great. How can people find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn. My Twitter handle is @CindyWahler, and of course my website, cindywahler.com.
Awesome.
Thank you, Leana.
Absolutely. And check us out at girlfriendweneedtotalk.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you. Bye. For now.
If you enjoyed this show, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform and check out our website at girlfriendweneedtotalk.com. You can also email me, Leana Delle, directly at gfweneedtotalk@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.